How about it? Let's take a look at the problem of the day today. It says arranging fractions in order from least to greatest. Goodness, we have 7/10, we have 3/5, 13/20, and 2/3. All right, so let's get those thoughts and those challenge moments rolling here. Let's see what we're going to do. All right, let's take a look at this one. A couple of ways. Some of you are going like, hey, I'm going to grab a calculator and make them all decimals. That's a good option. That's a good option. I'm going to take it a little more structured. I'm going to look at for a common denominator for all four of these, and then we're going to check them. Now at home, go ahead and write them down there. Go ahead and write them down at home. And let's see what we're going to do. If you got a calculator close by, there you are. They're very easy. They're all, remember, fractions are division. That's legal. That's legit. Change them to a decimal and then compare. I think also it's legal and legit to change them all to common denominators and then compare, all right? So let's see where we're going on this. I'm going to start off, first of all, I've got 7/10, pretty big number there. I have 3/5, I'll give myself a little bit of room here. And I got 13/20, and I've got, last but not least, 2/3, which seems like friendly fractions. You know, I notice 5s and 10s and 20s, and then we have that 3 sitting there looking at us, and it's not so pretty. All right, so we ask, what do we do with that? What are we going to do? Well, what we got to do is figure out what number will each of these go into. Now, I'm looking at 5 and 10. I know 10 is going to work for that. Actually, I look at 5, 10, and 20. 20 is going to work for all three of those. Here is the hang-up. And 3 has really nothing in common. I can't divide 3 into 20 evenly, so 20 isn't going to work here. I am going to multiply the 20 and the 3, and we're going to have 60. So let's see what happens if I need to get something over 60 here. All right, we'll draw a little line through there. Equals something over 60. And then here we're going to equal something over 60. We'll figure out what that is in a minute. And over here, we got something over 60. All right, so let's see what we're going to do with these. First of all, I'm going to look and I'm going to ask myself, what will divide? Well, I picked the number 60 because 10 will divide in there. I'm going to ask, how many times will 10 go into 60? And it will go 6 times. So basically, that's what happened here. I had to multiply 10 times 6. I'm going to do the same thing with the 7 times 6. So I'm at 42 right there off the bat. 42 over 60. That's what goes with 7/10. Because remember, we got to multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. Now here I'm going to look at, I know 5 will go into 60 evenly because there's a 0 on the end. It goes 12 times. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say 12 times 3, which is going to give me 36. So in other words, I multiply this 5 times 12. Got to do that 13 times 12. That will give me 36. So already I've got 42 and I've got 36. You know the numerator is going to be all the story because the denominators are all going to have the same number, right? So let's see what we're going to do on this one. 20 going in there, we want to multiply by 3. And we'll do the same thing up there. I'm getting 39. 39. So it looks like 13 over 20 just blends right in between. All right, in between those, that 3/5 and 7/10. What about 2/3? What about 2/3? Well, easy to see there. It's going to be a 20. So we're going to multiply by 20, and that's going to give us 40. Wow, all of those have pretty close calls there, all right? But what we want to do is go from least to greatest. So I'm going to look for the smallest numerator once I've got all my common denominators going. You can't do this until you get the common denominators, all right? So let's see. We'll start off with, it looks like 36. So that tells me 3/5 is going to start us off. Go back to the original fractions, okay? From there, I'm going to 39. Just work right up the order. Just work right up the order. And that's going to be 13 over 20. And as we're going along here, it looks like 2/3 is popping in the next place. And last but not least, well, let's see what we're going to have. We are going to get our 7/10. Wow, what we started off with is going to become the last one. Now, that's my call, all right? That's my call. Some of you say, okay, I buy that, but I like the decimals. So let's take a look at each of these, and let's go to the calculator here, and let's make some decimals happen. All right, guys, let's see what we can do with the decimals here. Thank you. We've got 3, first thing, divided by 5. Remember, that's what fractions are. They're just good old friendly fractions, and they can become decimals. And that's going to give us 6/10, okay? Or as we like to look at it, 0.6. Our next one we're going to look at is 13. We're going to divide it by 20. And that's going to give us 65 hundredths. So a little bit more, because remember what we can do, we can add a zero to our decimal here, all right? Decimal 60 and our decimal with 65. Now, 2/3, I already know what's going to happen there. It's going to give me 6, 6, oh goodness, it just keeps repeating. So we're just going to leave it at such, and we'll put a bar over there. We could have put a bar over the 6 to begin with, but I wanted you to see, at least we get it to 2 places. Well, it's a little bit larger, which is what we said, all right? Remember, this is the smallest, this is medium, this is large, and our last one, 7/10, that's easy to rise the decimal. Here we go. So for those of you who like those decimals to work them out, they still work beautifully. They match up right here, 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 here. Definitely 3/5, the least, 13/20, second place, third place, 2/3, and last but not least, definitely, it was the greatest, right, is 7/10. So there you go, problem of the day. I hope that you all got those fractions arranged in order back at home. And also, a lot of you down on Facebook and turn in the answers and your suggestions there. So we love it when you do that. Oh, and we love it when you like us on Facebook.